today, my people, you know it is Don Tony Teflon. Feel the issues, guy. This one. No, I'm messing up. You're over here, Phil. Feel the issues, guys, over in the building. You know what it is. Escaping from episode 4, trailer breakdown, recap. Phil, what's going on with you, brother?
Not too much. Excited, but a good day. Excitement. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. And I'm very excited to get out here and talk about this episode and also get with our special guest. And we have a voicemail number if you want to call in and leave a voicemail about this episode or a question for our guest at 781-990-8509. Or you can send us a voice clip if you're out of the country at theissuesguy@gmail.com. Really excited all you guys are in there in the chat. Keep it coming. Keep the excitement going.
We're going to say what up to a couple of people in the chat. Thank everybody for being here with us right now. Let's go through a couple of people. Sonic Your Boy is in the building rocking with us right now. Fred Grace is up in the building rocking with us right now. We got Lady Stoneheart is up in this. Kimmy G is up in the building rock. What is this? Carub? Is that what that's a Carub? I don't know. But you're here with us too, and we appreciate you. Becky is up in the building. From down under in Australia, Carla Way is up in here rocking. It's Miss Moonlight. Never seen your name before. Thank you for rocking with us right now. Oakland is in the building. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. At some point, this video is going to go into a subscriber-only mode for the chat. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, all right, so that you can ask the questions. Marty is up in there. My man Chris Wiz is up in the building right here. All right, as always, you know, we're gonna break down this episode. Now, listen, I know there's been some controversy about this episode. I've seen it in my chat, and I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass about how the Don do's, unless you're a female and you're into that stuff. But besides that, you know, we're going to talk about the episode in reality, and hopefully I can explain some things to you. I think that a couple of people have missed on this episode and why this is such a good episode. But let's bring in our special guest, Phil. Who is it?
The one and only, you know her from the show as Julie. Hannah Cheramy is right here. I think I destroyed her name, but she's here.
No, that was perfect.
Oh, I did it?
That was it. That was actually really good.
I'm glad you did, because I wouldn't have been able. Thank you for joining us, Hannah. We truly appreciate you rocking with the Escaping From podcast. Don Tony Teflon for the Issues Guy. And thank you, Daniel J. Hunter, for subscribing. Again, if you want to ask her a question, you know the number to call in and everything. We'll be taking it from the top and everything else. But hey, we'll go into a couple of questions with you. When did you start acting?
I started acting when I was about 11. So math, 9 years ago. And yeah, I just like got into it because I really liked watching like Disney Channel and stuff, and I wanted to be just like them. So I asked my mom to get me an agent, and she just like luckily ran into someone she knew. So I got very lucky getting into the industry.
Was some of your first work, so some of the first things you did was on the stage, and do you remember what some of your first roles were? Like what was your first thing that you did?
Yeah, when I was like really little, I was in a production of Snow White, and I was Doc. I was like 5 or 6, like very young, and it was just a little kids children's theater thing, and it was really fun. And yeah, and then I just did theater all throughout high school too. So yeah.
And you've been working steadily. Right after that, you did some commercial work, and then you ended up doing some series work and some independent movies that you were up for awards and stuff like that. So if people wanted to see more of your work other than From, what are a few things that you would suggest? I know you're on the Van Helsing series on Sci-Fi. I kind of remember, like, I watched that series in passing, and then I had to go back. I was like, oh yeah, I totally remember her. And but what are some other things, some movies or other of your work you would suggest people to check out?
Yeah, so if you're into like monsters and horror and stuff, if you're a fan of From, then the very first movie that I actually ever did is called The Hollow Child. It was like an independent film, and I thought it was really good. It was like monsters and scary, and I got to play the monster, which was like the most fun ever. So yeah, I recommend if that's spooky. But other than that, I was doing like Hallmark, which is a totally different vibe from From. So
yeah, it's good to just be adaptable. Is horror your favorite genre to do, or you just like doing everything?
Yeah, I definitely like to do different genres, but I do love doing horror. Like I've done more horror than not, so I really like doing horror. I don't mind that's I guess a podcast.
Yeah, now a lot of people have had interesting stories about when they got the call for this show, that knowing when they got the role. So were you a full-time actor when you got this role? Did you have a side hustle going on and then you got the role? How did that go about?
Yeah, so I was a senior in high school, and I was just working, and I wasn't really acting as much because I was at it's a very awkward age when you're 16, 17 in the industry because all of the 16 to 17-year-olds are played by like adults.
Yeah.
So it's a very awkward age, and I wasn't really working. And then I auditioned for this, and like I had done quite a few director callbacks for other projects. So when I got the director callback for this one, I was like, "Ugh, it's just another one. I'm gonna get my hopes up again." And then when I got the call, my parents got it before me, and I was out with my friends, and they called me and they're like, "Hannah, come home right now." And I was like, "No, just like let me stay out a bit longer." They're like, "No, please come home now." And I was like, "This is gonna be good." And I get home and they were like, "Yeah, you're moving to Halifax. You got it." And I was like,
Oh, that's awesome.
"Okay." Like it was just like so random. I was not expecting it at all. So it was really cool.
Did you read with the actress who plays your mom and dad, Tabitha and Jim? Did you read with them to get the role? No, not even just they gave it to you after you just read the
Yeah,
line.
no, I read with my mom in my first audition. She's my line reader, and then the director callback, and then I got it. It was really cool. And then I got to meet everyone. I didn't even know who anybody was playing anyone until I was out there. So
So awesome. Let's get to our first voicemail. This is from area code 305.
Hey guys, it's Mika Lee. Hey Tony, hey Phil. And I want to say hello to Hannah Matthews. I just love your character on the show, and I want to thank you for your awesome performance on the show. I'm a diehard fan, and I just wanted to know, maybe like what your favorite thing to do in your spare time is. What are your hobbies? What are you good at? And anyway, we know you're good at acting, so keep it up, girl. You guys have a good night, all right? Bye.
oh, that's really nice. I'm kind of lame. I don't really do much. I like to crochet. That's my little
That's
grandmother
great.
hobby. I like to put on Netflix and then crochet.
Come in handy later, though. I mean, you're building up talents for the grandma
And
age.
that's a skill that women, not many people have. You know what I mean? My kid's mother's mother crocheted and taught my daughters to crochet and stuff. And I always told them, I said, it's something, that's passed on from family member to family. It's really important that people still do things like that. So that's
Yeah,
great
it's
that you do
a
that.
great gift. Like if I can't think of what to give someone, I'm like, oh, I'll make them a hat.
Yeah.
And then it's also like it comes from a place of love, so it's even better. And yeah, it's great.
And let's get to another voicemail from our good friend, the one and only Carla Wayne in the live chat, all the way from Australia.
By the way,
Good day, Tony
Way.
and Phil. And hi, Hannah. My name's Carla from Australia. Love you. I have a question regarding the scene back from season 1 where Julie sees the monsters for the first time on the porch of Colony House. And when one of the monsters calls out Julie's name, it seems that she knows him, maybe from her real life. I just wanted to know a bit more about the direction that you were told to go within that scene. Do you know if you're supposed to have recognized him from the real world, or more so whether you were just kind of shocked that it knew your name? Anyway, I'd love to hear more about that scene and what direction they wanted you to take with that.
Yeah, so in that scene, I remember while we were filming it, Jack Bender, the director, was kind of like, it's as if he's sort of like a boy from school who you might recognize, similar to how the grandma and Megan, and she goes, "I'm your grandma," and Megan's like, "You're not my grandma," but it's like she's sort of almost as convinced that it is, just because it's like, I feel like the monsters have such a like a what's the word? They can put these people in like almost a trance. Like that's what I kind of see it as. So when I was doing it, it was kind of like she's being drawn to him. Like he knows her name. This is a person who obviously knows her. She doesn't know anything about the monsters yet. No one's told her. They're just like, run up to the house. So it's just kind of like, okay, I must know this guy. And that's kind of like pulling her in. And then the gunshot and he doesn't go down. That's where she's like, oh shit, I don't know him. He is not a human.
yeah, because he's like, Julie, don't you remember me, Julie?
Yeah.
I think when you do when you do a very good like frantic and then run off thing. Like I love the way you do it. You've done it multiple times, and that's a hard thing to do because in all honesty, that could come off cheesy. right? It could easily come off cheesy, but you really do a good job. And especially, you know, when you had the unkiss with Fatima, and you know, and you know, you pulled that off, and you didn't know what to do at that time. You were embarrassed and everything else, and you ran off the screen. So talking about that real quick, do you think that she was just, because I think I see a little bit of something else going on in this episode we're going to talk about in a second, but do you think it was just she wanted to do it because she's curious, or she's just at that age where she just wanted to feel comfortable with someone, and this is the person that she felt the most comfortable with?
Yeah, I think that, you know, the kiss, her wanting to kiss Fatima could mix a many different things. It could be a mix of that Fatima was the first person who really like cared for her and really was just like the first person who went out of their way to be kind to her. And she was just drawn to her. And, you know, even when they're helping Ethan with the crutch, Julie's like, you don't know us. Why are you doing all this? And Fatima's like, it's just what we do. And that's the kind of direction that sets Julie on, instead of a more pessimistic path, it puts her on a more positive one. And that we can see throughout season 2 and in episode 4, where she's like, okay, I'll go talk to Elgin and I can sort of do what you taught me to do, because that was like the Fatima way. And I think that, and also it could just be, I mean, Fatima's a beautiful girl. I think that Julie could have had, and I think she definitely did have a crush on her. And I think that, you know, she misread the situation with Stacy because she saw that. So she was like, okay, well, maybe I can get a kiss here too. Like if she's going to kiss her, then why wouldn't she kiss me? But to Fatima, she understood that it meant something different to Julie than it would to the other girl that she kissed previously. So that's why Julie had her moment of like, oh shit, oh no. Yeah.
And to piggyback kind of on that growth in your character from season 1 into season 2, as your roles define in your own family, in the Matthews family, it seems like in this episode a lot, in episode 4, you started to become the centering of the family, like keeping the family together, caring for everyone, almost a reverse motherly role on Mother's Day with Tabitha. In that scene at the beginning, you seemed more like the mother in that scene. And how do you feel, I guess, what is your role in the Matthews family in season 2, do you think? And how has it changed? Because in the first season, it's a lot about you finding your individuality. And I guess on top of that question, do you think Julie, if she knew what she knew from season 1 going into season 2, would make the same decision to live in Colony House, or would she have stuck with her family?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Definitely I think that Julie's taking on more of a leadership role within her family, where she kind of used to just, you know, be on the back burner, was kind of pushed to the side, not being a part of them, not telling her anything, not wanting her to know anything. Now that I think that she's shown her maturity and shown that she can be a part of the family and be like a useful part of the family, I think that also her dad kind of spiraling, and, you know, he's still hurt from the house, and now he's like going on to Donna about these conspiracy theories of like who was on the radio. Like he's starting, you can see he's like the cracks, and Tabitha obviously is cracking with these children that she's seeing. Like it's all so much that Julie's just kind of chilling right now. Like obviously she had this big breakdown in the diner because she thought she was going to lose her parents, but now that she's got them back, nothing like absurd is happening to Julie right now. So she kind of has to be a more of a leader and sort of has to be the one who is caring for her parents, because like they're not doing good.
Yeah.
So I think that if Julie in season 1, answering your question, could see that if they came in more with that family dynamic where they were all together and more connected, she definitely would have chose the town. But I think the Colony House was just so she could gain her independence. And once the attack on Colony House, she moved back in with her family. So I think that.
Yeah, and also when you came in there on the notion that your parents were going to get divorced. You knew about it. No one, they didn't know you knew, but you knew the deal. So you're already mad at them for whatever reason for them getting that. And you were more of a, you know, older sister, let me tease my little brother phase, right? And that's what the way you were presented. And now after all this has happened, now it's like, all right, I can't just be that. I have to be there for him. I really have to be a true big sister for him. I think that's where your character has progressed.
Now, this is area code 646. It's basically asking the same question you already answered, but it's a good question, so I just want to get the person's voice on the call.
Hello, guys. My name is Marcus, calling from New York, Brooklyn. What's up, Hannah? Hey, Tony, and what's up, Phil? My question is, today I rewatched episode 1, And I realized when you guys were running up into the colony house with your mom and Kenny and Ellis, one of the creatures came up to you and it was like, do you remember you waving? And you kind of seemed like entranced, almost walking up, almost as if you did recognize him. And I'm starting to think, I'm like, maybe that does mean something or not. But I was wondering, maybe if you don't know, you can probably tell us your theory on it probably, or, you know, Phil and Tony, you can tell me what you think that might mean, or maybe it means nothing. Thank you guys. Appreciate
Well,
it.
you did answer this question already.
Yeah,
earlier,
she kind of
so-
did answer it, but
Now you're gonna get my answer now because she already answered. This is what I think is going on. Now you don't have to say nothing. That you know this is what I think. I think that this has all happened before because these people have been this alternate dimensions, and all these families have already been there before. And that's why this guy knew you, because he's already seen you. Maybe he killed you before. He's killed the family and everything else. That's why Tabitha's old bracelet is there, because she's been there before. Every one of them's been there before, all over the time, all over the place. They just get whatever happens. They just reset and drag in new people from different realities. That's what I think is going on. But I think we should. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. We should go into the recap, Phil. We have been there for 17 months.
Yes. We'll get back to a few more voicemails in a second. And actually, this is a quick one I just had queued up. So we'll do this, and then we'll get into our recap.
Hi, this is Roy from Texas. The question is, how was it to film that scene where you realized that you might not see your father Jim again? Really impacted us to see you reach that emotional depth, and wanted to know a little bit more about that day and that filming that scene and how it was for you and the cast. Thanks.
Yeah, so that was a really hard day. It was actually my very first day on set for season 2 because we had a scene originally planned that got canceled, and so my now first day was this scene, and I was like, oh, okay, and I get to meet all these people for the first time, and I'm crying so heavily, and it was very, very, very physically exhausting, running. And I was like, I don't know if you could see them, there was some like little baby chairs sitting on the side. I kept smashing into those and knocking them off, and we'd have to like reset. So I was also like getting physically beaten up and
bruised.
It was a lot. But I think it turned out good. And yeah, it was definitely some of the most intense acting that I've done thus far. So yeah, I enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, sometimes those intense moments are the most fun to do because you're giving your whole body into it. It feels like, you feel like an athlete at the end of the day working in the situation. And
what's funny also about that scene is that we didn't do a close-up of my face on the floor that day. So then the next day that we were filming, Jack, the director, was like, oh, we got to get a close-up. And I was like, we're doing that scene again? Okay. Like, and I was like, get back into it, Hannah, get back into it. Now it's your close up. So it was kind of funny how it was all cut over the course of that time.
Yeah, amazing. So this episode, we open up season 2, episode 4, This Way Gone, I believe it was called. We open up on a flashback with Kenny and his dad and his mom being moved into the nursing home. No, Tony, it's a retirement community. And we see Chrissy and Chrissy and the dad doesn't like it. It's too sunny. Kenny sets this up. He needs to stay here. He can't open the door. We get more about what happened and why Kenny's father had to be put into this situation. The mother talks to him and gives some kind words, and he's ill. And then we cut right from that to Kenny going outside and talking to Boyd, who basically offers him to be his deputy. And we see Boyd immediately going into that fatherly role with him, which basically is a big theme of this entire episode, the relationship of Kenny and Boyd and their whole dynamic.
First off the bat, let me just say this. It's good to see Kenny in some pants that fit his ass. All right, finally, is something that's fitting this dude. The high waters, Kenny was growing old on me, Kenny, the high waters, you know what I mean? So good to see something that actually fit him. And you've seen that this is basically the Kenny episode, right? It's a whole thing featured on him and Boyd's relationship, and they basically show exactly how that went. I don't understand it, why they had to put their pops up in there. They couldn't get no rope for the door. I mean, you couldn't keep in the house, get a lock or something. And then, you had to say, all right, you got to ship over here, but the guilt that his mom feels, is understandable for this. Hannah, when you seen this scene, obviously you're just like us, all right? Just seeing it because you're not around when they shoot every scene, right? So you didn't see this. Were you on set when they shot this scene or not?
No, I'm not on set if I'm not in the scene.
So how did you like seeing the Kenny background story with his father?
I think I mean I read the scripts. Obviously, I knew that it was coming, and I think it was really cute. And I got to see, Tian Chen and then Bing Kwan got to meet each other, the actors, for the first time this season. So it was nice to have that family dynamic because family is obviously such a huge aspect of this show. So it's nice to see the family all together in the beginning, but it's really heartbreaking to know what does end up happening to him. But I also think that it was necessary that he was moved into the clinic there because he would find a way, I feel like, to open the door, especially if he was so out of it from dementia. Like he would find a way to get out. So it's necessary, but it was really sad.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth, like my mother had vascular dementia. She somehow find her way to escape that nursing home like 15 different times just from like wandering and stuff. And they mention it a little bit later in the episode that I think it's even in the Boyd scene that he attacked his wife trying to get the door open because he thought the brothers were outside. So I definitely understand what you're saying in that situation, Tony. But I think it was a have to. He needed to be put in the situation, and I think it also just adds to the emotional drama later with the way the mother ends up blaming herself for all of this. It's really, really harsh. So we cut from that scene into a scene with Tabitha and Julie. And what do you think of this Julie character, Hannah? What do you think about Julie in the scene?
So annoying, just a brat.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But what's interesting about this Julie character, Hannah, and now I have you on the spot. What's with tea? Everyone's talking about tea this season.
I know. Kenny with the teapot. I saw someone saying like every time Kenny says the word tea, I just like I lose a year of my life. And then I saw myself and I'm like, I was gonna make tea. Like everyone's just making tea.
Yeah,
That
there's something
tea
up with
could
the
be
tea.
Oh my
drugged.
god. The
That
food,
tea
I
could
guess
be
it's like
drugged.
easy to make. That's why.
Yeah, it could be drugged. I don't know. Something's gonna be going on with that tea.
Tainted tea.
Tainted tea. Tainted tea. That's what it is. Yeah, but it's a good scene here with you, right? And your mom, and you questioning your mom. So you finally got your mom to open up to you.
Mhm.
And do you think that when she did do that was like the first time that the mom is actually looking at her daughter as a young woman more than as her daughter? Is that what you think is going on there?
Yeah, I think that she trusts her with that knowledge because as we like in season 1, we saw when they were in the pit talking about Thomas, she opened up to her then. So we've already seen that Tabitha can open up to Julie, but that was because Julie already knew what happened about Thomas. She obviously knew the story of how he died and stuff, but it was just like more about Tabitha's emotional reaction to Thomas. But as for this, Julie doesn't know what the hell's going on with these children or what this is. So I think that this is necessary, that it's like new information that's being passed to Julie. So I think it's good that Tabitha's opening up.
And I think this is just kind of like a refreshing scene for what you see in shows like this, usually where the character of Tabitha would usually in some situations keep this to herself. She actually shares it with Julie and makes it more of a family issue in a situation, which I liked, where some people, why don't these characters talk? She definitely straight up told you exactly what was going on so you could keep an eye on it, which I think
a little bit of emotional manipulation on Julie's behalf, though. She's like, Mom, tell me. I thought you were dead. I thought I was going to have to raise Ethan by myself. Are you going to tell me now? You can tell me now?
You bat the eyelashes.
It's like my plan.
Yeah, that definitely worked too. It definitely got it.
You got what you wanted. Area code 616 with I think a related question to the relationship between Julie and Tabitha.
Hi, this is Angel, and my question is for Hannah. And I was wondering about the relationship between Julie and Tabitha. And it seems like they had a real rough go in season 1. Where do we see the relationship in season 2? Do you think that Tabitha is going to be more open to telling her what she feels is going on in the town? Are they going to be maybe trying to figure out what's going on? And also, how was the relationship with her and Jim this season? Because even after what happened to her dad, it doesn't seem like they had much interaction. All right, thank you.
Yeah, so I kind of just said, but I think it's like, it's good that Tabitha and Julie are getting a closer together as characters this season. And also, they're still trying to be protective parents, though. You know, when Tabitha and Jim are in the hospital, they're like, can you just go take Ethan out of the room for a second. You guys go out, let us talk. And so, but the thing is that about that scene is that Julie doesn't fight them on it. She's not like, no, tell me, I'm an adult, as she would in season 1. She's more like, okay, I understand that you guys need your moment. I can go off. So I think that that is character growth in and of itself. So.
Speaking of just the way you feel about members of your family, what do you think Julie really thinks about Ethan? Do you think she realizes how special he is connected to this place? Or is she starting to realize that? Or does she think his quest thing is just maybe him just being a kid? Is it, what do you think are Julie's opinions of Ethan?
Yeah, I don't think that Julie really thinks of Ethan as like this this special like being. It's to her, it's just her little brother, you know, and it's just a person that she has to be with and protect and, you know, take care for each other. But I don't think she really sees him as like he is the key to getting out of this place. But, you know, if more information comes to Julie about Ethan, maybe then she would think that.
Yeah.
But
You know, we have over 300 people watching, only 100 likes, man. Hit that thumbs up for your boys. You know what this is. This is the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, from. And we bring this to you every week. We up in this piece doing this whole situation. With that, all right, Phil, I said it.
And Chris, she said if the family was a tighter unit, that she probably would have gone to stayed with her family. And then everyone wants this. We've seen this question. Just text this simple question. Hannah, you're showing up there. Do you live in Colony House or do you live in the town?
So my answer to this is that I would choose Colony House if I came in by myself, just because I'd be too scared to live by myself. But if I came in with my family or my friends, I'd choose a town for stability.
This seems like the standard answer, because when we asked Liz said the exact same thing. That it's
all about like
who you rolling with. If who you rolling with in there. Like if me and Phil go up in there, me and Phil, we chill in town, but we hang in that Colony House all day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Chill there. But when the bell gets rung, I gotta see y'all later. We
have some kids up at Colony House.
I gotta go see Fatima and go pick some stuff up at Colony House a couple of times a day, you know. So in that scene with Tabitha and Julie makes some tea, and another tea reference. Julie's really worried about Tabitha. So the next scene comes down and Ethan comes through the door asking where mom is. And then Jade busts through the door like Kramer in an episode of Seinfeld. Oh my God, you guys are living here now. And Jade, this was a great Jade episode. He was hilarious in this episode, but also showed his heart again in this, where occasionally pops up and you see with him connecting to the bus driver that we'll talk about a little bit later. But we just got rid of those 3 smelly hippies and now you guys are here, and your 2 reactions, you and the actor that plays Ethan's reaction, were perfect. It was just that, okay, you want to go see.
I love that scene. It's like a little bit of lightheartedness after like a kind of sad scene with Tabitha. Any scene Jade is in, it's just going to instantly be. I mean, David Alpe's comedic timing is just amazing. So it's very easy to play off of his comedy for, you know, me and Simon Webster, who plays Ethan, to just kind of look at each other like that. It's very easy to build off of him. Yeah,
and you 2 have excellent chemistry, and you just kind of had perfect comic timing on the look. You're like, It was great. It was a great topper to that scene. Our next scene is Kenny and Boyd, and Kenny is leading Boyd to Sarah in the underground office. Boyd asks for alone time, and Kenny's like, wait, what do you mean alone time? And we've talked about this before, the character of Boyd, whenever he's faced with a lie, his secret to it is getting angry. He like raises his voice and gets carried away. He's just like, no, we're not. No one's getting in the box. He'll just freak out for a second, and it dissuades the character. Like, okay, Boyd's going through a lot of stuff. Let him do his thing.
Look at this Boyd right now.
Yeah, Boyd's got stressed on his mind. Leave that boy. That's all he's got to do is raise his voice a little bit, and everyone's you got it.
And he sort of gets away from it really good. But they face off, and he's like, he uncuffs her. He's like, I got 1,000 questions for you. He's speaking the voice of the audience right there. We've got 1,000 questions for you, Sarah. Where you been? Did you throw the rope? When she went into the tree, it sent her to the basement, and he got sent. He doesn't want to say. He's going to change the subject. And this is an interesting point of information that we actually get. We were always wondering, does anyone else actually get to see the boy in white? Did Sarah just hear him? She actually says she saw him leaning up against a tree. There was a boy in white, and he's not one of the voices, and he wants to get out of here too. And he said, Ethan was right. This place is angry. Or no, the boy in white said something. I think I missed that note.
No, his brother, her brother. She said her brother was right.
Her brother was right. Yeah, and this place was angry. And the little boy in
brother?
white is not one of the voices. He's different. He's trapped here and wants to find a way out too.
Yeah. Now, all right, let's go through it. Now, how do you feel about Sarah? Now, I mean, there's a lot of people in it. Should I make a poll in here real quick? Should Sarah go in the box? I'll make the poll. And what do you think about Sarah? Should she, for everything she's done, go in the box, or should she be forgiven because, hey, she's hearing voices, a lot of stuff going on? What do you think she should go?
Ooh, that's a very heavy question. So, well, it's like death penalty. It's like heavy question. I think that Sarah should definitely not be forgiven for what she did, and I think that maybe it's just also a little bit biased because she tried to kill, my little brother, my character's little brother. So I'm like, put her in the box. She needs to be in the box. But I think it's also that if she doesn't go in the box, Boyd will lose a sense of authority and trust with the people in the town because he made this promise that he would do it. It's like, well, if you did it with Frank, why can't you do it with Sarah? But Sarah also is a very important character, obviously. She can hear things. So Boyd is in a very difficult situation of what to do. And I don't know what I would do. I'm glad I'm not.
You're walking the line, girl. You're walking the line right here. Well, thinking about walking the line, we're going to go back to the previous episode because we talked about this in the chat, and people have different opinions. So what's your opinion? The girl who got stabbed in the head with the rod, right, and she's up against a tree. I said, Kenny was quick to pull the trigger. Kenny got gangster and was like, listen, let me handle this. And then, the girl was like, no, she's not going to go out with a gun to her head. Would you have thought it'd been more humane to let Kenny do it his way or pull out the rod?
I think that was so dumb. They're like, no, her last moments can't be with a gun to her head. What do you mean? Instead, we're going to make her and crying with the pole coming out. I'm like, oh my God, just do it from behind. She won't see it. She's fine. She's
Kenny should have just bodied her.
That's what I would have wanted. Oh my God, I wouldn't want to go through that pain.
Quick. Make it quick and easy in that situation. Yes. Before we get back into our recap, let's get a voicemail from the voice at 916.
Ooh, the best one.
Hello, this is the voice at 916. Hello, Phil. Hello, Tony. Welcome, Hannah. Thank you for taking the time to spend a little bit of time with us. We really enjoy your performance throughout the series. It has shown a huge range and so much growth in the character. You really do shine. But my question is, could you speak a little bit about your relationship to Jade and your feelings and about him and just whatever you can tell us. And my personal favorite is when you went out and you told him his name is Jim. It's not Teacup. Anyway, thank you, Hannah. Really appreciate you being here. Peace and stay sexy.
Oh, that voice. That voice.
He's really comforted and seduced by that voice.
Thank you.
I mean, the voice of 916, we keep saying she needs to get a job doing voice.
Yeah, voice work or something.
It's such an interesting, unique voice. To answer
AMSR or something.
To answer the question, I think that Julie and Jade's relationship is really cool. And when we were filming season 1, I was interested to see if they would take this relationship and go further with it, because it was a fun scene to see, kind of like they're both very passionate characters, and they speak their mind, and they're not timid, neither of them. So I think it was very cool to see that, and I would love to see more of them. And then so we saw in episode 4 today that they're living in the same house now. So we'll see if more happens there, but I think that their relationship is really cool. But I also equally really like Ethan and Jade's relationship, and I thought that was really cool, because he didn't talk to him like he was a kid. He talked to him like.
Yeah, because I think Jade is a kid. That's the whole thing. I think he's just a big kid. He hasn't grown up yet. He's like Peter Pan out here. He's just I'm doing drugs. I'm on ecstasy. He was on ecstasy. I've seen people on ecstasy. I know ecstasy when I see it. He was on ecstasy and touching people, telling everyone how beautiful they are and all this. And, he's just a child, and that's when he reacts to people. I think he reacts to them as a child would react to somebody. but then he gets a sense of, hey, I'm being kind of a dick here. Let me reel it in and be nice and this, but it's like I'm about to jump ahead to the scene with the in the bar and everything else. But I'm done. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, no, go for it. We'll just
Yeah, because when he's in the bar with this thing, he's like, listen. These people are on the bus anyway. That life could have been that good.
Yeah, they were screwed. The minute you see those streets, you're screwed. Don't blame yourself.
Yeah, you're in the bus, and believe me, as someone who's taking buses, I know exactly what he said.
It's like their lives suck. They were on buses anyway. And then she's doing the Dante from Clerks. I wasn't even supposed to be here today. I wasn't even supposed to work there today. And we'll talk more about that when we get to that scene because there's an interest. Or fuck it now. There was an interesting thing about. She finished her college degree and was finished paying for it and reached some pinnacle of her life and took an extra day. And you could say that Jade did the same thing where he sold his company, finished a big chapter of his life, and then took a trip. So is there something with...
Well, you have to bring in Boyd. Boyd finally got the boat he always wanted. He retired and everything else. The Matthews, if you want to go along that ride, they
finally decided to get a divorce.
Yeah, they finally decided to get a divorce. They were on a vacation, family fun vacation. What was Donna doing with her sister? Was she on some type of shit? So I have to go. Huh?
On a hunting trip, I think.
They were going on a hunting trip and
everything. Looked at Chrissy and Marielle, and they were just going to meet for lunch.
Yeah, so it doesn't track with everybody, but it is an interesting parallel.
I like that idea.
So yeah. Okay, so let's continue here with the recap a little bit. We get a little bit more with Boyd and Sarah and Sarah, who's immediately feeling the guilt and about this and saying you kind of knew where this is going right here. She was eventually going to tell Kenny herself. And she's like, did you tell Kenny about that I'm responsible? And he's like, no, I didn't tell that. Hell no, I didn't do that. As someone in the live chat said, Boyd has a problem with the truth. And for someone that considers honesty important and preaches it, would you agree with that, you guys, that Boyd seems to have a little bit of a problem sharing information and he keeps a lot to himself?
Yeah, I think that because he is obviously the highest leadership role within the town, it's maybe like he can't tell everyone everything because he's got to be the one to like keep it together. So he feels like if he tells people, it will create mayhem.
Yep.
But also he did try to talk to Ellis and he's like, I went through a tree, and Ellis is like, that doesn't make sense. So it's like, well, then I'm not going to tell anyone anything if you're not going to believe me. So Boyd is really...
if you do. Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I guess to your point, the scene with Ghost Father Khatri was very much saying that. Like when you're a leader, sometimes you have to keep shit to yourself.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the luxury of emptying your conscience. That's a luxury to be able to get everything out. People pay a lot of money to go to psychiatrists to get everything out. You don't have that luxury when you're in that position where he's at with telling everybody the exact truth. Kenny didn't need to know what happened. There's no benefit of Kenny knowing. Kenny knows, and now what? Now that was, and me and Phil, we talked about this before, and we said that this was going to be the season that Kenny broke bad, right? That Kenny breaks bad, and we told y'all in the chat that this was going to happen, and this is what you see. See him right? Kenny's about to break bad because this good guy role, it's not going to play anymore. And I think we're going to have to move Kenny up the ladder of the major deaths now because of him breaking bad. I think so. We have a tier system here. We think one of the main characters got to die.
Okay.
This season. So our number one right now, we're on Donna number one.
We love Liz. We love
Liz. I love Liz. She's been on this show twice, but for emotional, it has to be someone that people care about, right? Or it's not going to have a meaning. So we have Donna number one. Ellis is number two, and I think Kenny's got to be three. I think we got to put Kenny on three.
You bring Kenny up to number 3 position.
I think we got to bring Kenny up to 3.
I think a lot is going to depend on and we'll talk around this because we know that Hannah can't say much in this situation. But I think a lot's going to have to do with the next episode 5, when the shit goes down with the situation, everything gets brought to town. Kenny's going to be faced with a choice, Tony. It's that choice. Does he break bad, or can he find his way back? Can Boyd help him find his way back? Can Chrissy help him find his way back? Can his mother help him find his way back? Or is Kenny gone and he's gonna take matters into his own hands when it comes to Sarah.
He's out of the high waters, bro. When you're out of the high waters, he's back in his regular. He's gonna be back in his regular jeans, chilling. He's done with that uniform.
Yeah, he's ditched it.
His girl left him for another girl. He in a bad situation, man.
That's true.
His daddy's been got killed by this chick now. His girl, he was getting to know, and now her fiance just jumps in. That ends that. He ain't got no job no more. Kenny is either gonna have to go get high, or Kenny's going down.
And we know from Jade that there's no more rolling papers, so there's a problem in town.
It just keeps getting worse.
We might see Kenny up in the bar slugging some. He might just be in there drunk. See Kenny up in the floor past
Kenny in that bar. Oh, so speaking of Kenny, our next scene is with Kenny and Boyd. Boyd says Sarah is connected to something and communicated Father Khatri knew this. He found something and the whatever the other side is using her like a pawn, maybe we can use it to help understand this place. Kenny is like, she's been downstairs the whole time. Boyd's like, I brought her on the mission and she saved my life. She did bad things, but Kenny killed Nathan, tried to kill Ethan, and Boyd kind of messes up here. He has a poker tell here where he essentially goes, yeah, she killed lots of people. She killed lots of people. And Kenny's like, lots of people. Oh, you know, I mean, Ethan. And this is where he raises his voice. You know what I fucking mean? Like, forget that. And he just drops it. He's like, okay, you're under a lot of stress. And then he has a Tony Soprano panic attack. He's like, oh, I can't handle it. And he passes out, and Kenny calls for help. So our next scene is we go off to Julie and Ethan heading into Colony House, and Julie spots Elgin, and this is where she starts the perspective to pay it forward. She goes inside, and we get the first that I have of my memory, like a good scene with Julie and Fatima that we haven't had in a while, which is good to see you two catch up and see the development of your character. I know, again, you can't talk too much about this, Hannah, but it seems like Fatima has some bad mojo about this wedding. Like she seems like she's not excited, that she's anticipating some problems in this situation.
Yeah, I think it's just that she just was, when Ellis came and pitched the marriage idea to her, like, let's get married now. I think that she was just coming off of like literally the worst night of her life. So she's kind of like, okay, yeah, let's get married. Like,
right. So she's sort of just in a
like, I am in a different headspace right now than he is, but he was just trying to bring her back. But I think that, the scene with Julie and Fatima was great. I love having scenes with Fatima. So,
all right, let's talk. Let's get to brass tacks here, Hannah, a little bit. Seemed to be a little bit of a little. I don't know if it was the wedding talk, but it did seem like there was a little chemistry going on with Elgin here.
Oh, Elgin.
It seemed like there was a little something going on there. I don't know if you could talk on that and stuff, but was there some type of Elgin chemistry going on there? Was it maybe the talk of the wedding got to open and hey, here's a new guy, blah blah, or was it more just like, hey, this happened to me, you seem to be in a bad spot, let me see if I can help you out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously open to everybody's interpretation, but I think the way we played it was kind of, it had a bit of a undertone to it. Like it wasn't just a, hey, this happened to me, because it's like, well, then why would that be there? You know, unless it's just exists to show Julie's growth and stuff, which I think it definitely does. But I think there might be a little bit, I played it as if there was a bit of a
chemistry thing.
Yeah, let's take this super chat real quick. First super chat of the night. Thank you so much from Double R. Considering what Boyd has seen and is going through, keeping secret is warranted. How could he tell everyone what happened and ensure that he won't be Sarah 2.0? They would probably be splitting over boxing him or not. I don't think that could, me personally, that there's anyone there strong enough to put Boyd in the box. I don't think that it would, even if the whole town was after him, I just don't think
take them all out.
That it would happen.
He John Rambo that whole town, Tony, and he would take each one of them out one at a time. I think I don't necessarily want Boyd to tell everyone in town, but I feel like if Kenny is his confidant, if Kenny's his number one guy, he should trust in Kenny to be a little bit more transparent with him and about the situation, just to say, if I start acting too weird, tie me up and put me in that basement. Like just to kind of have a backup plan of somebody that could take him out that he could trust at the core level. And I would assume that would be Kenny or Ellis, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see moving forward.
Be seeing how Ellis reacted.
It's
When he
true. I mean,
told
both you
Ellis,
guys said
Ellis
that.
was like, you jumped in a tree and transported somewhere.
What is
like,
this, Star Trek?
Yeah, like what we
It's gotta be-
You think it's got to be Kenny?
It's got to be Kenny that he goes to, but now it's not going to be Kenny because now Kenny and him are and they're fighting.
No,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Maybe I forgot. Did you have the character, Julie? Did she tell anyone that she transported in the faraway tree? Or she's keeping that secret?
No, she told her family. She told, and then Ethan was the one who knew it was a faraway tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then I assume, like, there's obviously so much dialogue that these characters do off camera. Like, there could have been a thing where she saw Fatima and was like, "Oh, this happened to me the night." Like, they were catching up about, like, there's so many things that I don't know what could have happened, and I just kind of have to guess about.
Yeah, no doubt. Because there's only certain characters who have ridden inside the faraway tree, and you are one of the characters that have ridden inside the faraway tree. So it's very important that you did that and everything else.
Bless you. So Julie sneezes all over Elgin, and
All over
Elgin, she just sneezed. I mean, that's what she does when she's flirting. She sneezes, and
all over you, Elgin.
I'm fighting for my life over here. Give me a sec.
No, sorry. Take your time. Take your time. So yeah, we get this great scene, and then we go off to the scene between Ethan and Victor, and this was great. I mean, Scott plays a child, like a living child, so well. The way, "I'm mad at you. You should have yelled at him louder." Like it's just so, like, I remember having those conversations when I was that age, and they go back and forth, and he calls your mom, your Julie, yeah. He calls your mom a nice lady, and glad it was helped. And he gives and he's kind of mean to Ethan, but he straight up kicks him out when Ethan's kind of probing what he's doing with the pictures. And Ethan gives him a new magic markers. So we're gonna see some upgraded pictures moving forward.
So how did you feel about that scene with them playing it out when you watched?
I think it's so cute. I think that it's like Victor is kind of at the same, like, emotional age as Ethan. Sorry, guys. I got something.
Do you need to take a few minutes to get some water and stuff?
I have water. I'm good. I was just dying over here. I don't know if you saw all that, but yeah, I think that Ethan and Victor, they're like kind of very similar, like, emotional age. So I love when their characters get to interact, because it's like watching two 9-year-olds like talk with each other, but it's a fully grown man. And so I think that it was really, like, it was very heartbreaking also just to watch him be like, "I'm mad at you, and your mom's a nice lady." Like you said, like, I mean, Scott just does such an amazing job as Victor. So I think their characters together are very, very powerful into getting answers and getting out of the town.
I'm mad at Jade for doing that, for putting Ethan in that position there. That's all Jade's fault.
Oh, let's not blame Jay. But yeah, Scott, listen, number one, that's a mad cool cat. He came up on here and we rock with that dude, you know what I mean? And he's a really cool cat, and he played this role. Like, he's so far from this role. Like, when you talk to him, like,
he's so chill. Yeah, he's so chill.
So far. Like, you wouldn't even think he could play a role like this. He's so far from the role that it just shows you how great his range is, that he's actually able to pull this off. And everything else. And I told her, I said, Victor's not a punk. He's got the gat up in the lunchbox. He's not playing around, but it was sad to see. It was sad to see, his boy. He's like, "Oh, this is my friend." But he had every right to be mad at him. I think he did have the right to. He's a kid, blah, 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 but he did bring him into the room and everything else. So I feel him on that one. And I don't think this is going to be a long time thing. I'm sure they'll work it out. Sooner.
No, this is just like, you yell at your friend for a second. Next time he'll be okay with him when he runs to him and wants to talk to him about something. He just needed to show that he was mad in that situation.
Setting boundaries.
Exactly. Making sure that doesn't happen again. And
you get a little Ethan cock blocking because of this, man. He comes running downstairs. I want to go. We want to go.
Yeah, interfered with your whole situation right there. But a couple people in the live chat want to know, how did he have peach cans if they're out of peaches? I think he just had the cans, like they were leftover cans that were just hanging out there to remind him of the wonderful peaches.
And the truck that he was in was the peach truck.
Yep.
So you could say if that truck was broke down there and it was full of peaches, that's how all the peaches got there, right?
Yeah.
So that's how the peaches got there. We have solved the peach mystery, people. All right. We
One
figured it
answer.
out.
Peaches. Okay, so we go off to the Julie and Elgin scene. We talked a little bit about this already. She talks to him about how long. He says, "How long have you been there?" There's definitely some chemistry, as we know that it was played in that sense. But you can also just feel it on screen. Both actors kind of have.
But there's
have a
an age
vibe.
gap here, though. There's a gap. How old is Julie, the character that you're playing?
Yeah, Julie's 16.
Yeah, all
And
right.
then Elgin, I'm not totally sure. I'm pretty sure he was written as an 18-year-old, but I know that Nathan, who plays him, is older than that. So I don't know if they've upped the age for him. Like, it was never exactly like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of someone to ship Julie with, and it's hard for me to see how, if he's 18, 16, still a little sketchy. Maybe this town, by the time the show ends, you'll be 25 or something like that. 20 too fast or something. You go up there or something like that. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
I see people were shipping like Julie and Kenny because they had that one scene together. I was like, she's a minor.
Yeah.
Stop it.
People jumped on that Julie and Kenny thing quick.
Yeah,
I know.
They wanted Julie and Kenny, but no, she's too young. She's too young. That's what I'm thinking here too. It may be a too young situation going on. There really isn't that, because people were talking about you and Randall. They were putting it out there, and I'm like, Randall's like 30. That ain't gonna work with Randall. He's like 30 and everything. They're like, well, she could fall for the bag boy type, and that's the age that she's at. I was like, I don't know.
Everyone's trying to ship Julie.
She could just be a single queen, and she could just stick with her
You're
family.
the bachelorette of from.
Man.
You are the bachelorette of from. You got the roses in your hand.
Yeah.
Now the Fatima is taken. So that's why people's trying to ship you with people.
Yeah.
But I think they're a little bit too old for you. But we'll see. We'll see as the show goes on. We'll see how it plays out.
So Ethan comes out and he's sad and wants to go home, and Elgin and Julie go off with a nice smile back and forth. So we go off to Chrissy and a pissed Boyd who's asking about spider bites and doesn't like that he has to explain anything that's going on right here. And she checks out the spider bite. She's like, nothing wrong with the spider bites, but what the hell is that cut on your arm? Oh, I just cut myself on a tree. Don't worry about that. And I know he needs to keep secrets, but he can't just say, oh, I got bloodworms swimming in my arm. But,
All right, so what do you? A lot of people in the chat and in my comment section have always told, like, these people are not communicating enough and telling stories. Do you feel that way too?
Totally. I'm like, you guys need to learn how to communicate. You need to have one good therapy session, learn how to talk to each other. It's like, yeah, they definitely got it.
And Tony, bless you again. And Tony, we absolutely learned in this scene that, I don't want to jump ahead, but the Parkinson's is cured. Whether it's the spider bites or the bloodworms, he stopped shaking.
I told you what it was. I told you out from the jump that it was the spider bites.
I'm saying it's the bloodworms.
You're just trying to be different, Phil. It's the spider bites.
Always.
It's the spider bites. Yeah, we could put another poll in the chat. Do you think it was a spider? Let's look at this poll. What's the winner for this poll right
As
here?
of right now, we got 65-35. No, do not put Sarah in the box. No one goes in the fucking box ever again.
All right, we'll put the next poll up as you go.
Yeah, but for the important part of that, though, Tony, is the Parkinson's seems, at least in this moment, to be gone. They're making it a point to say he's not shaking anymore.
Yes, no doubt about it.
And let's take a quick text message from area code. What's it say? Hey Phil, Tony, point for the chip challenge. I think the school's name is Celestial Elementary. Oh, so Tony, it's just a point for possibly being aliens. Get someone else from 814 says, I guarantee you, if they communicated, they would find out they're not from the same year and they don't have the same president, proving they're not from the same dimension. So I think that's one of the things people are thinking, that maybe all these people are from different dimensions and they're converging
I
here.
expect that, Phil. That's just going on what I said. Yes, that's that's what they are.
No, that's what the text messenger said that as well.
Well, they should. If you're wise, you agree with me, and that's what it's gonna be. I'm trying to tell you when it's all said and done. But yeah, when back to Boyd, it's the spider bites that cured him of the Parkinson's disease. It's not. All right, what do you think, Hannah? Let's go through it. Do you have an opinion on this? If you had to pick, would you think that it was spider?
I think I'd say the worms. I think the spider bites, I don't know. I just consider the spider bites to be kind of like almost, they're like real spiders that maybe just like kind of put them in that loopy state. But I don't think it would cure the Parkinson's. I don't know. I don't think there is a cure for Parkinson's. I mean, I'm no doctor. I don't know. But the worms are something so different and so like extraterrestrial that it's like, that's gotta be it. Like, it can't just be the little real life spiders, you know?
Interesting.
I hear you. And listen, Hannah, you have the right to be wrong too. Don't worry.
Just because she read the script, doesn't mean she's okay.
Just because she has a script doesn't mean she knows. Right?
Yeah, that's not evidence. That's not evidence.
No, it's not evidence.
Speaking of a similar question, Tony, we got a question from Lazaro. It says, "Hey, Tony, Phil, and Hannah. Quick question: if you guys were given a chance for Phil and Tony to appear on the TV show, when you guys take the opportunity, why not?" I'm not sure I understand the question, but yes, Tony and I would love to show up there, and we would hang out.
Are you crazy?
We would
I would be there tomorrow on set in the diner getting pancakes, like going on there and drinking tea, just like everybody else.
I'd be tapping on bongos in Colony House in a cloud of smoke.
We got to get up in there, Phil. We got to just sneak up.
Great message. Thank you, Mom, for leaving that message for Tony and I right now. So to continue in this scene, Chrissy is like, dude, you need to rest. Boyd laughs his ass off, and says, you got to de-stress. And he has a funny line where he says, "It's funny thinking about anyone." And this is just great acting here, where he's just like, yeah, it's funny thinking about anyone being in this situation without stress. Yeah. And he tries to get up and his body can't do it. And I think anyone that's ever been through any surgery knows that feeling. It really sucks when you want to get up and you're like, I gotta get the hell out of here, and your body just doesn't cooperate with you, and you're just like, oh, I can't fucking do it. So we go off to Kenny and his mom, and Kenny's worried about Boyd, and they comment about how stubborn he is. Kenny asks about the Chrissy situation, and he says he just wants her to be happy. Kenny's just a nice guy, guys, right? Kenny's just a sweetheart. He just wants the best for everybody.
Yeah, it's just a front. Kenny's Breaking Bad. I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna lose his mind, and I'm scared for Kenny. Kenny may get got this season, people. I know. And Sonic, your boy, saying, "Tony, wake up your girl. She's sleeping on his shoulder. Don't worry about my shoulder. She good? Where's she at right now? She's sleeping. Let her sleep.
Not that time, yeah.
She's got laser surgery to get rid of these varicose veins in the morning. She's trying to work it out right now. So just let her sleep while she's gonna go. Now, Kenny's got a good possibility of going. It just seems more and more likely when he does break bad and stuff like that. I just can't see it. Real quick about your family dynamic. I think that it's great that they have an interracial family on the show and everything. And your family is the interracial family in there. You have Tabitha, who is what is that? I'm trying to think of Phil knows, and he walked away. Thank you very much. What is her nationality? I'm sure it's the same on the show and everything else. Is she? Do you know?
Carolina's Colombian.
She's Colombian. All right. So you have a Colombian mother and it was American dad and everything else. When dealing with diversity and stuff like that, do you think it's important to show that representation on the show, especially interracial couple on the show?
Yeah, totally. And I think that From does a really great job. There's so many different, Ellis and Fatima, and then Boyd and his wife, and they had Ellis. And I think that there's so many different aspects like that, and that family doesn't all look or act like one specific thing. There's so many different, and not just diversity within race, but also now there is a lesbian couple in the show too. And there was also there's so many different things. And I think that it's really good to show that and represent that for the people that are looking for themselves like that on the screen.
Yeah, it's very important to show somebody who to be familiar with, right? Like, oh, I could be here because this person's like,
yeah,
and everything else. So I think that they do a
you wouldn't want to be there. It's nice to see yourself up there.
It ain't that bad up in there. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, it's supposed to be terrible, but it ain't that bad up in there. I mean,
Fine, they're
it
fine.
ain't fine. Real quick, now I want to ask you this. Now, a lot of times, now, me personally, you know, I'm a more of a action type person. You know, I think that the people inside this place have just got too lackadaisical and they haven't really tried to take it to these monsters. They just hide all the time. If you as a person, Hannah, was in there, would you be more, hey, let's just go with the flow? Or would you be like, listen, we got to start trying to get at these monsters a little bit and figure out some stuff?
I think that I think I hate to play the middle ground again, but I don't think that I would be so go with the flow. Like, I would obviously want to be getting out of there. But I think the second that I shoot one of them and they don't go down, I'm like, okay, that's it. I ran out of ideas. You guys figure it out and I will assist you if you need help further from there. But I think that yeah, I think that people are going to like what's coming up because there's definitely going to be interesting stuff with the monsters, and that's all I'll say on
Because
that.
we see them just setting traps for little animals. Why can't you set a trap for this monster? I mean, why don't you make a pit and let the monster run? Because, you know, and grab and throw some fire on him or chop his arm off. Or,
Well, who knows? Maybe they have previously. Like, maybe they did that with when Boyd was first in town before the Matthews even showed up, and they found that, okay, that still doesn't work. And then so now they just know we can't kill them, and we just haven't seen that. It could be.
If it can bleed, it can die. It can bleed, it can
Becky has a question for you, and from the live chat, Julie or Hannah, what is your favorite episode for coming this season?
Episode 6 is definitely one of my favorites as of like the scariness, because as a fan of horror, I like episode 6. And then just as like a overall in the show, I really, really enjoy episode 2 and 3. I think they're really, really fun. I love the stuff with Kelly and her brain. And then just 9 and 10 together. 9 and 10 kind of blur together for me, but I really like the stuff that's in 9 and 10. So I'm really excited.
Again, if you have a question for it, please call in 781-990-8509. If you're overseas, use the issues guy at gmail.com and leave a message there. Don't be shy. Call in and she almost died here for you today.
I know she's choking today. It's just a talk.
Gave my life on this show.
Exactly. So the next scene that we get, we talked about a little bit before, but I think it's probably one of the best scenes of the episode. Jade and the bus driver. Jade comes in and the bus driver sitting down having some drinks in the bar. Everyone wants to know who the new bartender is. I saw Tony put in a few different places, Jade's going to be the new bartender. This definitely showed that is a possibility coming. Like, he's just kind of going to take over the bar area as his safe haven. She mentioned Elgin being like, you have to turn around, and she didn't listen. Jade, again, instead of being a dick in this situation, asks when, before or after the tree. And he says, oh, you already saw the tree. You're already screwed. It seems like after you see the tree, you're already done. She says, those folks counted on me in the bus. Jade, it's like, not your fault. Don't have a pity party. Did your pity party come with finger sandwiches? It's not your fault. And these people's life sucked anyways. They were riding a bus. And again, as Tony was saying earlier, I used to ride the bus every day to work, an hour. Bus life sucks. There's no worse public transportation than buses. I'd rather ride a subway. I'd rather ride a train, play any other transportation. Buses without the bumps every time buses suck.
It's the cheapest form of transportation. It's taking the bus, not the cheapest.
And it's the one, coincidentally, Tony, it's the one I've done the most in my life because it's the cheapest one.
And bus drivers have no chill. The second that you tap your card, they are gone and you are falling into the bus.
Yep. Yes. Absolutely.
You're 100% right about that.
You better learn to surf.
Exactly.
And she's pissed, and he's like, yeah, whatever. And he says, she kind of does. I mentioned this earlier, the Dante from Clerks. I wasn't even supposed to be here today. And she paid her tuition off. She worked extra to make some extra cash for vacation. She deserved a reward, and this is what she deserves. And Jade is like, I did basically the same thing. I sold my company right before I finally achieved the one thing I worked for my whole life. And they toast and they drink. A great pair. I hope they become friends moving forward because they have excellent chemistry and they were really good on screen. One of my favorite scenes of the episode. And our next scene is Tabitha looking for Jim as she bumps into Mary Ellen, and we just get a quick scene with who are you, I'm helping Chrissy, don't worry, and then she leaves. It's just like a very quick scene to kind of introduce Tabitha to Mary Ellen, because I assume they probably have some interactions later.
Something's going on with Mary Ellen. She's suspect to me. I don't know. She's got a lot of information. She in everybody's business. She a chatty patty. She know where everybody at. Listen, something going on with Mary Ellen. She could be a mole. She could be.
I love when Jim first met her and he was just like, "Who are you?" Like, I just love that interaction.
Yeah, who that for you? And she's not the only sketchy one, Tony. Before we even get there, as a long-haired hippie-like person myself, I don't trust the hippie older woman dancing in the rain, smiling. She was sketchy with Boyd tonight. With, "Hey Boyd, what's going on? Oh, I heard you went on a quest." And then she got weird with Jim in the last episode when he was asking her simple questions, like getting very like, "Whoa, stop asking me questions." I don't trust the hippie. She's too nice.
What do you think about this lady? How was? Let's just go with like this. I know you can't say so. Did you have any acting scenes with her this season? Is she a good person to be around? You have spent time with her on the set and stuff?
Tilly.
Yeah, I like Tilly a lot, and Deb Grover, who plays Tilly, I got to see her for the bus stuff, and we all got to bond during that bus stuff because they just like straight up took like a fire hose essentially and were like and just drenched all of us, so we all got to like bond over just being sprayed down. It was really fun. So I got to do scenes like that with her, and she's a pleasure to be around. But I like Tilly. I'm seeing all this like Tilly, like, oh, she's the rat.
She's too nice. She's too nice, Hannah.
Everyone's talking about Fatima too. People don't like nice people. I'm like, guys, there can be good people in the world.
Yeah, they can be, but most of the time there's a mole in this
Sweet
place.
Summer child.
You're just saying it from day one. There has to be someone down with all this stuff. And it's gonna be someone you don't expect. That they're not gonna just make it obvious who it is. It's not gonna be Randall. It's this older lady dancing in the rain, asking all the questions. She's definitely suspect when it comes down to it. To me, she's on the mole list. She's not number one, but she's on the list. I would say she's
number one.
On the list.
Who is number one?
At number one, I'm doing a video on this. I can't really give away but I will say that on the list, there's a bunch of people. Kenny's mom is on the list with the damn tea. She's on the list. I don't trust that tea. It could be some hallucinogenics in that tea. Something's going on with that damn tea. It's mentioned too many times. Donna is definitely on the list.
I'm seeing a theme here. Why are we only picking the older ladies?
No. That's not the thing. So the way I look at it is that it's most likely going to be someone who's been here for a while, right? That they've been here and they've been, reporting. Donna's been here for a very long time. Her husband in real life has been here for a very long time inside there. You see when Boyd got there, he was in the hole, she was in the hole, Father Khatri's in the hole. He's already dead. Those are the longest people who's been here on time. And even Victor's on the list. Victor could be playing the long game. This could be some type of Shutter Island situation going on here with Victor.
Nobody is safe from this list.
Huh?
No,
you're safe. I don't think you're the mole.
Yeah, you're not the mole. I don't think you're the mole. Ethan maybe. Ethan might be turned, but I don't know about you. So we go off. Our next scene is with Jim and Tabitha having a look at the house, and they finally catch up. We also see Randall's story kind of moving along a little bit. And calling the other hippies vultures, get on my bags. And Jim mentions Mary Ellen being Chrissy's fiance, and Jim is like, those wires can't not work. And he talks, he's not an Imaginarium or whatever those guys are that design the Disney roller coasters and stuff, but he makes an interesting point about how, when you're on those rides, when you're on Everest and you're going backwards, you want to feel like you're going to fall off. You want to feel like you're on edge. When you're falling in a ride at Universal, you want to feel like you can almost die on it, but you're not going to die. And so he talks a lot about stuff that you've talked about, Tony, the way like where science can appear magic when it's higher up, and how it may appear that these things don't work, but it's possibly just designed for us to just feel like we're peeing in the wind, essentially, to see how we're going to react. And it's just some big fucked up experience, a fucked up experiment. And how do you feel? Or I can't ask you too many direct questions like this, but how do you feel about the experiment thing, about challenging people, about what Jim says in this scene, or just the scene between Tabitha and Jim?
I mean, I like that. I mean, I have so many of my own different theories. I mean, there's a standard like purgatory that maybe they all died and then this is their punishment, or I saw one where they all crashed into a tree and now they're here and it's like death or whatever. But also I do like this idea of the experiment, but I'm trying to figure out how they would set it up that you loop. Like if it is like a government-based experiment, like how would it loop? If you drive out one way, how are you, like, I don't get
Well,
it.
Tony?
you have come to the right place.
Yeah, I was just let me introduce you to Tony Teflon.
Yeah, this is my theory. So let me explain to you.
Okay.
So we see Jade. He talks about Einstein and all of them before he goes inside, but he doesn't put it all together. He names the people, but he doesn't put the experiment they did, and that is the Einstein-Rosen wormhole, their time loop. Now, in their situation, they said if you go through one pipe and you would come out this other side of a pipe, but be in a parallel universe on the other side. And that's how you would travel through space-time. So it would be a situation like that. If that tree that's on the floor is a faraway tree that's laying down there, and I believe that there are no such things as a teleporting tree. It's just made to look like a tree because it's really just a teleportation device. So I think that all these people came through a wormhole and they're sucked in here, and that's why they get sucked in there. And that's how it would be explained that they would be able to go around in a circle. Also, Jade also says he sold his company, and I believe that the company he made, that he sold this algorithm for quantum mechanics, in the future, they are the ones who discover, because of his company, exactly how to do this. And that is why he's there from the beginning, because he's the one who actually invented this thing. That's why they bring it up. Oh, I just made this quantum computing thing and everything else. But way down the future, they learned how to use this technology to create this also wormhole. And that's why they've trapped everybody in this experiment. And they're experimenting on these people as if they did back in the day. If you look at like the Holocaust, and back in the day there, you would see that they did a lot of experiments on twins before. So that's what I think we always see these little girls that Tabitha is seeing, are little children that's all being experimented on. So that's what I think is going on. And that's how I make it so that it could work. And how
time is still passing on the outside, yeah?
Huh?
Like in this theory, time is still passing outside of this wormhole, and they're at the same timeline, right?
They're in the same time. They're in a different. You're in a different dimension. You're bringing people in from alternate dimensions into this one spot, right?
Oh.
So that's why I think everyone's already been there before. You know, because when you see Tabitha go out and she's with Victor, right, and she's walking out, you see that there's water on the floor, and she specifically says that, where is the water coming from, right? And then everyone's concern is like, oh, the water, she helped her lead out, and that's how she found her way out of the caverns. But that's not what's important. What's important is the actual words she said. Where is the water actually coming from? So I think that they flood those people when it gets to people in control. Once it gets too drastic, or people get too close to figuring it out, they flood that tunnel and they kill everybody, and they flood the whole town, and they murder everybody by flooding them. And that's what they do. They just flood it. And then they bring in, once they kill everybody, all right, let's bring in more people from a different timeline and start the project all over again. And then the next people come in, and stuff. Because when you look at that little girl that's behind the bars that she sees there, that chick's hair is wet. Her skin is really white, like she got drowned out. Or that's what someone would look like if they were drowned in the water. So I think they flood everybody out there. They kill everybody and say, all right, we're going to bring in a whole new set of people and do it all over again till they get the results that they're looking for. And that's why Tabitha's bracelet's been there before. That's why when she looked at that dress or whatever, it seemed like she knew what that dress was, or whatever that was in that suitcase. That's what I think is going on.
Damn, that's like a well thought out, well versed theory. I would never even maybe I'm just head empty, no thoughts, but I would never look at like the water thing and be like, and go from that. I'm just like, oh, okay, the water was the rain. Like, you know, like I love that people could just go in and like.
I got a lot of time on my hands.
I know, and that's what's amazing about this show. You can watch it on both levels, in both ways.
Totally.
Here's an interesting question for you.
Yeah, what's up, Tony and Phil, Hannah? Yeah, if you could be anybody on the show, Hannah, besides yourself, who would you want to be?
So if you could play any other character, Hannah playing any other character on the show, would there be any other one you might want to play?
Yeah, maybe, I love Donna. Like, she gets to be so badass and like she just like has this authority, and I like that would be really cool. Or Jade, I love comedic roles, and I think that it's just fun that he gets to be like an asshole, but like gets away with it. Because if Julie's an asshole, she doesn't get away with it. So I would like to veer more into that direction. But there's so many cool characters. But I think Jade and Donna would be cool.
Yeah, Donna gets a Funko Pop. You got to have it with the axe in her hand because
100%, Tony.
She worked just Axe and Donna. Now they're together and everything else.
Now, area code 305 has a couple questions for you. Phil, can you ask Hannah what her favorite movie is? Has she ever been to the Florida Keys? And will she make me a hat? And what's her favorite food? So let's forget the hat question. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie.
Let's just take movie.
Maybe I don't know if I have like an all-time favorite movie, but I guess like just because I was so obsessed with it when I was younger and I still love it, I just love The Hunger Games, like just as a series. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I still do.
There was an actor you could work with. Pick a hat and you could work with this actor. Who would it be?
Any actor in the whole
world.
My God. Let's hit him with Jennifer Lawrence. Sticking on the Hunger Games teams. I love Jennifer Lawrence.
And let's continue with that one. And there's the Hunger Games prequel series that's coming out soon. Are you excited for that?
I'm slightly excited.
Yeah, moderate. Prequels don't usually work out too well. Usually.
No, I'm really excited. Yeah.
Unless you're Better Call Saul. So Jim mentions that Mary Ellen's being Chrissy's fiance, and the radio worked, and they made contact. And yeah, I heard a man's voice on the radio that warned me and threatened me, knew your name, and the building collapsed. So we go off to the bathroom, and Boyd is cleaning up. And, Tabitha asks if anyone else heard it, and everyone watching at the same time goes, Donna.
Yeah, let me ask you this question. Did she ask that like she didn't believe him when he was saying it? Or did she, because why did anybody else hear it? Why did she saying it like how did you take it? She didn't believe him saying that?
I think she believed him. I think it was almost for like so that other people would believe him. Like, do you have backup? Like, do you have so when you go to people and you tell them this thing that's crazy, are there people there that are going to be like, whoa, this person also heard it? I don't think she was like thinking that it wasn't true.
A good answer, and I agree that situation. I think it was also just for, in a weird way, for the audience's purposes too, to kind of just to remind people that Donna heard it too.
That's true, because then
because it kind of leads into the scene that we get with Donna a little bit later in the episode, which is a great scene that we'll get to. So speaking of a great scene, Tony and Hannah, we get this scene with the flashback of Father Khatri. And I love how right at the beginning of the scene, it cuts out any of the people that might be watching go, is this real? Is this because of worms? He's like, are we really going to worry about the minutia of if I'm really here or not? Let's just get to what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
And he's great. The two of these characters, I've said chemistry a lot, have awesome chemistry. I forgot how much it's just fun to watch Father Khatri shit talk Boyd. He's just like putting him in his place. He's like one of the only
people. He keeps him in check. No one else is going to do that with Boyd.
Exactly. He's the only one that can. He's the only one.
The weirdest thing about this scene is that you got to figure Boyd's talking to himself. Like, if I start talking to myself and I look over here and I say, hey, how you doing, buddy? Right? I'm talking to somebody over here. I talk to this girl right here behind me. Like, hey, how you doing, shorty? If she speaks back to me, I'm not going to be shocked about it. He seemed shocked. Like he double took him. Like, what are you doing here? Like, so if he's doing it to himself, why was he shocked about it? That shockness shouldn't have came to him unless something in that goddamn tea, man. If the tea,
psilocybin tea,
it's all the worms in him. I don't know, but he seemed shocked. Like when
I think he was shocked because it almost like just confirmed, like, oh, okay, I am losing it. Like this is like he saw him, and then he's talking, and then he talks back, and he's like, okay, yeah, this is real, this is happening, and I'm losing it because he's dead. He died in my arms,
Yep. And basically the gist of this scene, we don't have to go through this beat for beat, is don't tell Kenny. It's that age-old thing when you're lying is sometimes does a lie protect people, and being a leader, do you have to sometimes keep secrets? And it's basically Boyd, and again, we can analyze this a lot of different ways. Was it something to do with the worms? Was it something to do with vision, or is it just the manifestation of what was going on in Boyd's head himself, analyzing whether it was okay to lie to Kenny? Either way, the point of all of this was that he was rationalizing, I'm going to lie to Kenny. But to your point, Tony, he's sort of arguing with himself there. He's like, no, I'm going to tell Kenny. And then it's like, and then he's having an active part of his personality go, no, you shouldn't tell him. And you should keep this a secret. And yeah.
What is your thoughts? Should Boyd have told Kenny, or should he kept it a secret?
From like a morality standpoint, I think that Kenny deserves to know, because I wouldn't want to, like, what if once Kenny finds out that Sarah's back, and if he didn't know, then he could just go back. Everything is fine with Sarah once again, and it's like, oh, my mom thinks of you as like a daughter she never had, but Sarah actually did this horrible thing. But from a sense of like, we need to keep our people in check, and we can't have people going like hysterical. I don't think, but I think he should tell him. No, I'm sticking with that. He should definitely tell him.
Yeah.
But if Kenny breaks bad and he winds up killing Sarah, is Kenny got to go in the box then, right? I mean, you got to take Kenny out.
No one's going in the box, Tony. No one's going in the box.
I feel like Kenny wouldn't break that much to the point where he kills her. Like, I feel like Kenny wouldn't be like eye for an eye kind of guy, but he would definitely not be very happy with her.
I mean, let's go through it. He was willing to put a bullet in this one girl's head already. We've seen him chopping down that tree in the blood and everything else. Kenny got a dark side to him. You know, don't let them high waters fool you. There's something going on with Kenny. And he lost his girl. Listen, at some point in some people in their life, they'd be like, listen, I ain't got nothing. If something happens to his mother, that's the end of Kenny that we know. I mean, that's the only thing I think.
Like, would the same thing happen with all the Matthews? Would they all now seek Sarah's blood because they tried to kill Ethan? And even though she didn't, she still tried and was going to follow through with it. Should they all now want Sarah dead? It's like, you know, should everybody know? Or why would only Kenny know, but then not the Matt, you know?
Sarah is difficult because they're blaming her for the brother's death, but that was about an accident. So I give her the pass on that. Toby, she definitely killed that dude 100%. And she is definitely the cause of everyone else's death in there. So she's dead to rights on that. The whole thing dealing with Ethan is it didn't happen. You know what I mean? She may have wanted it to happen at the time, but she's got voices telling. I mean, can you go to court and say I got voices and get away with it? No. All right, it's not going to happen. You know, you're going to go to a psychiatric ward and everything else.
I just think that if it was my family member and it was like, but they didn't actually kill him, she just tried to and then got the wrong guy, I wouldn't be like, oh, okay. Well, you didn't actually die. I'd be like, you almost followed through with it. You are at the same level as you did.
I agree with you, Hannah, 100%. But she did lose her brother over this. Her thoughts, right? The only person that she was cool with and everything else from that whole thing, living with her brother, and her brother wound up getting got because of it. So I think it's a fine line with Sarah. It's hard to say with her. You know, she's very stabby. There's no doubt about it, but she's important too at the same time. So it's hard to really get in there with what should actually happen to her. But I think if Kenny could be, you know, if he loses his mind, he might go that way. You say no, but we'll see how the season plays out between.
I think we'll see a lot in this next episode. So the next scene that we get is Jim coming to Donna, and we get the amazing scene between Jim and Donna, where she's just like, she brings him in the back. She's like, yeah, I heard the freaking voices. I heard some spooky motherfucking voice warning you 20 minutes before your house fell. Great line read by Liz here. And she's like, and she just makes a great point. Yeah, let's not do nothing about this, but this is one of those examples where I agree with keeping things, like, figure out more information first.
Definitely.
I don't know if you two agree. I think Donna has the right idea here of like, everyone's still uptight because of the radio thing. You and I know this happened. Let's figure this out a little bit before we bring this to the team here. So, yeah.
Yeah,
And
no, Joe, I think that Donna, I think the most important thing that she says in this whole conversation is that you don't even know if that person was human that you
yeah,
talked to.
you don't know if it was human. You don't know. There's people out here that are turning into monsters. Damn it, Jim. I'm the colony house leader, not a scientist.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. Because it could, I'm telling you, this has got something to do with aliens in the end. Y'all see when it's all said and done. But Donna's right in this 100%. Liz is amazing. She's an amazing woman. She's an amazing actress. Every time she comes on the stage and you see her on the screen, she grabs that scene and she plays it very well and everything. You've had the opportunity to work with Liz, especially in the dining room scene earlier and stuff like that. And it was a different side of Liz. She played a more motherly role. How was it working with her in the second episode in the dining room scene?
Yeah, that was great. I was very happy that it got to be like Donna in the end there, that I finally got to like collapse into her, because I just love Liz and I love working with Liz, and I felt very comfortable. Like, I was surprised. I was kind of scared of, I'm going to meet so many new people and this is such a big moment, and it's in the script, it was written as like, this moment is what makes every new person understand that this place is real. Like, that was what the point of the scene was. And I was like, oh my God, so much is riding on my shoulders. I got to make all these people like convinced. And so I was just very happy that it got to be Dawn in the end. And then when Tilly comes over and she puts her hand, like, I just thought it was such a sweet moment. So yeah, it was nice to work with Liz there like that, because I got to do other things with Liz like last season, and I'd be like, Donna, where's my dad going? Donna, what's that? But that was more frantic, and this was just more like guttural. So it was fun.
So the next scene we see is Randall kicking some dude's ass for going through his stuff. Donna's like, "Are you kidding me? You're beating some dude up for going through his stuff. This is a hippie commune for fuck's sake." Randall says it only works if you stay out of my stuff or you get a knuckle sandwich. You understand? So we go off to Sarah and Kenny talking about things, and let's just break this scene down in the sense of Sarah eventually feels guilty and eventually admits to Kenny that she's the one that left the door open and got his father killed.
Kenny with the interrogation skills for the deputy boy got it out of her.
He's doing Columbo. He's a little Columboing it, Tony, where he's like, "Oh shucks." Oh, he's where you don't know you're being interrogated. It's like, "Oh God, let me tell me about what's going on."
He did the good guy cop on her. Please explain it to me. I just want to know so I can understand.
Convince me, Tony, why I don't deserve to be in the box.
That's what he was. That's what he played. He played that good guy cop, and she was like, "Kenny, just leave me alone."
I killed him, damn it.
Yeah, Sarah, she's all about, listen, if I gotta go, I gotta go. Like, she's like, if it's gonna happen, let it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I also like about Sarah, is that she knows she did wrong, and she knows, she's like, listen, if these are the rules, then you can't not, like, I deserve to go in the box then. Like, she's not fighting it like, no, I'm special. Boyd is the one who's like fighting first. So I like that Sarah, she obviously didn't want to do these things. She felt like she had to do these things. So
great.
Right. Going back to Randall real quick. I agree with Randall. Don't go in my stuff, bro. For real. You know what I mean? You can't just be, I don't know you, son. Number one, COVID, don't touch stuff. All right. How do you feel about that whole situation? Was that a little rough on Randall? I mean, listen, did he kick the guy that he had? He could have snatched the bag away and said, don't do it. But I guess when you gotta look at the situation. He's by himself in a house full of strangers. All these people know each other, been living with each other. He by himself. He's probably got to assert his dominance to let people know, listen, I'm not the dude. You can't test me like this.
Yeah,
you don't want this to happen. So
people are too chill with the sharing stuff at Colony House. I feel like if it's my stuff, and like it's same thing with season 1, and Julie's like, is that my shirt? And what's her name? I'm forgetting her name.
The girl that got killed.
Rudy. It's like, oh yeah, we share everything here. She was way too chill about that. I would have been like, okay, it's coming off. It's mine. It's coming back to me. So I think that it's definitely weird of if the sharing up there. But I don't think that kicking someone and like punching them out is like exactly the best way to go about that. And then Donna coming back with the axe. She definitely did over assert dominance than what Randall was trying to do, because Donna was really telling him, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. I'm him. I'm the leader of this place, and you're not coming up where I am.
And I thought it was very interesting that Donna makes a point about when she's talking to Fatima in the next scene about, I know the Randall type. He takes everything as a personal attack. And I don't know if it's some sort of reference to his past life a little bit, or her past life, and dealing with people like that. I do want to say a special thanks to Mika Lee in the live chat, who just gave us a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Mika. No comment, just the super chat. We do appreciate that donation celebration. And I do think it is interesting that there is a communication between Fatima and Donna about Fatima's almost like the second in command of Colony House in a sense, and in the spiritual successor to Donna in a lot of ways. They have a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, and I Fatima was also handled that situation better, because Donna was kind of sassing her, but I forget her exact wording, but she's something like, "Oh, so should we just let him run free? Let him do whatever he wants?" Fatima was like, "Okay, I didn't
Should we
say
give
that."
him a fucking wing? I think she says something like that.
A wing of the house. Like, I would have been like, "Okay, you know I didn't say that. That's not what we're talking about." But Fatima's chill and she keeps her cool. Donna obviously does not, because then she goes in with the axe. But
Donna likes him. I think she likes Randall. She been on Randall since Randall got there. You know what I mean? Ever since she's got there, you see her eyeballing him when she's in the restaurant. Yeah, a little something going on there. Maybe Donna and Randall, maybe got a little something.
We're shipping a lot of people here tonight. So basically this scene leads down to her bringing him to the bus. The bus driver moves the bus out of the way, out in the side, and Donna's like, "You're gonna stay in the bus now. Here's a talisman from the Matthews house. They don't need it anymore. You can see right out the windows what's happening with these things. And if that falls down, you're dead. I don't care about you. Have fun in the bus, buddy." And I have a feeling like if someone's able to set a trap, Tony, this trap we're talking about, I don't think Randall is gonna cower at these things. I think Randall is gonna try to mess back. I don't know if this is gonna necessarily have the reaction that Donna thinks. Do you think it's gonna humble Randall, or do you think it's gonna inspire him to do what you want somebody to do and go after these things?
I think we need a Randall. Randall's very important, because Randall is a guy who is going to take action. These guys, people been cowering too much. You got to eventually take it to these creatures, and Randall may be the guy to do that. And I also think it could be a power dynamic, right? You have Boyd, who has a certain leadership style with Donna. You could have factions form here. You could have people that want to go here and deal with Randall and down with the way he wants to do things, and people may want to do things the way Donna and Boyd want to do things. So you could see a split, and maybe Kenny jumps ship and goes with Randall. You know what I mean? And starts rocking with Randall. So I do think Randall's an important character for that and everything else. You need someone who's that. And I would have took the bus from the beginning and lived up in there. I would have just cleaned it out a little bit first.
Yeah, clean the blood stains off a little bit.
Clean that out. But I would live in the bus all day. That's a nice place to live. Instead of living around all the people, the bus is not bad at all.
Yeah, but it's so open. You're so like exposed, and the monsters can see you, and they will try to get you, and like you're just gonna have to hear them all night.
Yeah, and to your point that you were mentioning earlier, Hannah, they can kind of get into your mind and manipulate you over time. So in someone like Randall, with what looks like he might be capable of, is probably not someone you want manipulated by those things. So we get our last couple of scenes, and let's just end off this episode. We go off to Boyd in the maybe so sketchy hippie Tilly, who is on the bus. She's like, "I heard you had an adventure." And she says it in kind of a sketchy way. I mean, maybe she's just has interesting social skills. And I'm saying the character itself, I think the actress is playing it in a very menacing, fun way, whether it's real or not. Some of the way that people are playing things is like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. She's playing it like cagey and friendly. Like, she's really captivating on screen for me, this hippie character. And she knows exactly where Kenny is. Kenny's over at the retirement community. You better go see him. And like, she's trying to egg on the fight. And she sends Boyd off to Kenny in the retirement community. And we hear more about Kenny's family, about how the mom's crying every night because she thinks it's his fault. Kenny gives Boyd the "fuck you, dude. Sarah's going in the box. She killed my dad and you fucking know." Threw down the badge, which connects to the earlier scene, and says, "You watch your own goddamn six." And he walks out, and that's the end of the episode.
That's how the
here, like Kenny
way to end it.
Yeah, Kenny just walks right out, and Boyd's just like, "Damn." And that leads into our next episode perfectly.
And I like the way. Go ahead, go please.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. For a long time, I didn't know what your 6 was. So I didn't understand like the gravity of the you watch your own 6. I thought it was just like some phrase I didn't get. So I was like, okay. But then once like someone explained to me what I was like, oh, Kenny, oh, you got him. Oh, Kenny. Like, so it was a good way to end it.
It was a good way to end it, you know. And a lot of people I heard, I hear the comments, I get the comments on the video, over 700 comments on the videos. And I know that some people may say, oh, they're not giving you the answer. I don't want the answers, because I know once the answers come, the show's gonna start ending. So I want more questions and stuff. But as I said, let me use Jim's roller coaster as a reference. You know, when you build up stuff for a roller coaster, it's the drop that comes down that gets you, right? So I think that this episode is the got you to the peak, and I think from down, it's all downhill from here on the roller coaster. I think you're all going to be, these are the questions you got are now going to be answered. The ones that we got, not all of them, a lot of them. So I think you're about to get it now. So buckle up, buttercup. Y'all be all right. You know what I mean? You have to have this exposition for a reason and stuff like that. When it's all said and done,
answers, it would be boring. You gotta have some anticipation.
Yeah, people I just think that this, you know, this is Instacart and all this other stuff and Uber Eats, and people just want everything now. Netflix, get the whole series downloaded, watch it all in one day. I just think that's the way the people are right now and everything else. So, yes, Wolf Speed. You know what I mean when I say it's downhill from here. Not bad. We're talking about a roller coaster here.
Yeah.
Be smart.
Riding downhill from here and like going crazy here.
Yeah, and I think it's because the show comes out once a week that people might feel like, oh, we're not getting answers because it's like sort of getting dragged out as opposed to binging it all in one sitting, where you'd actually see like, oh no, you're getting answers to certain questions, you're just not like looking, you know?
Yeah,
because you can get answers. If everyone was asking, where's Boyd, what is this thing, we got the answer, he was in that tunnel thing. What happened to Tabitha, we got the answer. You know, like there are answers and you did get them, but like people, like there's just always more questions. So yeah,
the week-to-week thing is excellent for building anticipation, but also when you binge watch something, your mind sort of autocorrects episodes that build character, and you just go to and you remember, or at least I do. I can speak for myself. I tend to just remember those big beat moments when I think back to a binge. We talked a little bit about this earlier. This is going back to when your father was stuck out there with the monsters, but someone was asking what, if anything, was going through Julie's mind when her father was stuck out there with the monsters when she was trying to get outside. Would you think she was just thinking instinctually, like, I need to help my father, and wasn't logically thinking of the situation?
Yeah, there was no logic. Like, you know, when you're in your fight or flight, it's not something you can logically think about. It's like a physiological state of being. And when you're in that moment, you don't think like, oh, this is going to kill me. And Julie knows better. She obviously knows you can't go out at night. She knows that she's not going to be able to go out there and single-handedly lift the house off. But when you're actually there and you're in this like state of panic and survival, you think, no, I can't. I'll just do it. I'll quickly go out there. I'll grab him. I'll get him back out. They'll be fine. And in that moment, those screams that she's hearing that are Tom's, she thinks they're her dad's. So that's what really like drives her to get out there and be like, I can get him right now. And so that was why it all came crashing in that one moment. So yeah, her whole world was just imploding.
Yo, when that sun rose, she was out that door. Whoosh.
Yep.
Damn. Whoosh.
My iron deficiency, I would have been like straight back down. I can't get up that fast.
Speaking of that, what is similar to Hannah, to Julie, and what is dissimilar? Like what part of you have you brought into the character of Julie?
I think to Julie, I've brought like definitely this season, definitely her family values we share a lot of, and I definitely wouldn't have chosen Colony House if it was like me now. But if I was back when I was 16 and I was wanting to feel independent and maybe just like a hair rebellious, I'd be like, yeah, I want to go out with my friends and smoke weed all the time. What are you talking about? My family? No. Like, but now Julie understands like family is the most important thing. And I think that we definitely have that in common.
That's good answer.
That is what's up. And I'm really hoping that you get some media roles for you in there. I hope that they really build your character up. Again, I'm not playing when I'm saying that, you know, you may be 25 years old when this whole thing ends as a character on the show, because they don't know. Ethan's wound healed very fast. extraordinarily fast. There could be some type of aging process that's going on here that people don't know about. And if so, then you would get some more roles. I think that they're taking it easy on your character because you're younger. Yeah, the character's younger, 16 years old, so they can't really give you a whole lot. But hopefully they give you a lot more because you do such a great job, especially in the scenes that you're in and stuff. So definitely want to see you get some more heft to these roles and everything. Maybe they take out Fatima and you take over Colony House.
Oh wow! Oh, I don't know if I want to knock out Fatima for that.
Like, that's my friend. I don't know.
Listen, this wedding's not happening, and if it does happen, someone's got to go.
It's gonna be a bad day.
Happy weddings. There's no happy wedding. Something's got to happen, and she don't even want to get married. She's like, I don't even know.
I know. When I first read the script, like when I got it, I was like, this wedding is not happening, and if it does, it's gonna be like blood, guts, gore. That was what I first thought when I read the scripts.
Now, Hannah, I know you guys are all real close on the cast, but who are the members of the cast you're the closest friends with?
Pega, who plays Fatima, and we're very close. She was actually just like at my house recently staying. Cool. So yeah, I'm very glad that I got to build the relationships that I done on the show. And even just like Simon, who plays like my little brother, like every time we're around, we're like real siblings. Like we would like tease each other and we're like playing games the entire time on set. And there's just so many everybody who's in the cast is great.
Yeah, we love Pega. Pega was the first one who ever came on the channel. She came on here first and everything else, and she got us in there and everything else. So it was when she came on that we were able to get other people on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So we got nothing but love for her at 100%. Hopefully she comes back. Trying to get her to come back this year, but I'm sure she's busy right now.
So Tony, I have nothing but love for you, but the poll as of right now says 65% bloodworms and 35% spiders.
Listen, all those people have the right to be wrong too.
Yeah, exactly. I have a right to be wrong.
That's right. Y'all can think what you want, but in the end, when it happens, we'll see exactly the way it plays out. I'm sticking to my guns. It was the spiders. They showed that spider bite him on his back for a specific reason. They didn't have to show it. They could have just showed him brush him off and everything else. They showed it on it, bite him, and show Sarah pull it. It's something. There was a reason why they did it, and that's just the way it is. I'm trying to tell you, it's a spider, and that's just the way it goes. And people are like, "Oh, buddy, you're wrong." If you actually look up Parkinson's disease right now, you can see that they actually do try to treat it with spider bites. All right, with spider bites.
Yeah.
All right. So y'all can think what you want. I already know. I do all this research.
Yeah. Tony's not just making this stuff up on the street. He's
I'm just saying this
science.
Yeah, he's a professional. Right. He's using science and speculation and real science to figure this stuff out.
No doubt about it. All right. So we have learned from you that there was a little flirting going on with you and Elgin. That's people were shipping that. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, we'll keep track of that.
We'll see where that goes later on. And your brother's walking around with a cane like he's a wizard. We'll see what's going on with him.
He's playing Stranger Things. Yeah, Ethan's playing Stranger Things.
I love that because it really started off as like, support for the knee, and now it's just like it just comes with him. He just like he's walking and the cane is just going. Like the cane is like it's a part of him.
Yes, what I said. How is it working with the actresses who plays your mother and your father? How is it working with them?
Oh, they're so fun. I like when I get to have like Matthew's family scenes when all of us are together. When we were there's a scene in 5 that we were all filming and we got to be together and we had like a bit of like a food fight afterwards, and it was just like cute. Like it was just like wholesome vibes. I liked it. Yeah, so both of them are really, really fun. And they like their banter with each other is really fun to be around. It does feel like an actual mom and dad when we're together. So yeah. We
didn't do. We were posted in the beginning. We should have asked you to rep your hood where you're born and raised. That's usually the first thing we do when you're on Teflon TV. So we'll get that. Where are you born and raised? Are you Canadian?
Yeah, Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver, Canada. All right, and we're gonna end this very soon, people. We can't keep her up. It's past 12 o'clock at night. It's probably, I don't know what time it is over there, but I think it's over
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Oh, then we'll keep you for 3 more hours. No, we're keeping Hannah all night. Then we're gonna do karaoke now at the end of the night, where we're gonna get the Disney songs out, and we're gonna make you sing A Whole New World.
I know. The cast said that they got together for a Thanksgiving dinner on the season 1. Were you at that Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah, so we had a season 1 Thanksgiving and a season 2 Thanksgiving, and it was really great. The first year we did it at David's house, and David is just like the best host. Like he goes above and beyond with his like gatherings that he hosts at his place. So it's always really great when the whole cast would get together and do things, and that would happen quite frequently, like more than people would probably think. So it was great.
All right. Anybody else has final questions?
Yeah, final questions. I mean,
Final
I know you can't tell us anything, but is there any word for anything with season 3? We're asking everybody about that. Is there any hint to a possible season 3 or when you may start filming it?
Yeah, everyone like obviously really wants a season 3. I think that we gotta get more viewership for season 2 and like all the promotion. And
We're
stuff.
trying the best we can.
I know. We gotta keep going, but definitely a season 3 is like wanted. So
Yeah, no, I'm out here. I'm doing my best to put a lot of people in the chat would tell you a lot of people didn't watch the show until I covered it and told them to watch it. And I believe in the show and everything else. I believed in it from the beginning, and I think that this show is just amazing. And as I told other guests on here, I really think that your ceiling is The Walking Dead. I see it being that big when it's all said and done.
Oh, wow.
It just has to get out there a little bit more to people. And once they do, anyone who have I ever told to watch this show has binge watched it and loves it right off the bat. It just needs to be put more in front of more people. But I do think that that's where you will be. You will be at that spot. You'll be at The Walking Dead, as big as that. And when it's all said and done and everything else. Quote the Don, nevermore. I told Steve Toussaint when he was first got cast in the House of the Dragon, I told him that he'd be on a #1 show on television, and he was. And I'm telling you right now that you're all going to be as big as The Walking Dead when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Again, you'll be a Funko Pop of you. You have a Funko Pop and everything else.
A Julie Funko Pop. That'd be awesome. Tony, I do want to send a special shout out to John Muller, who is Duck Dynasty, who was the guy, the extra in the scenes, who said, "Hey, it was a pleasure watching the other night. I love that everyone thinks that I might be Martin. Maybe I also love the Duck Dynasty nickname. Thank you guys." And
yeah, that's what we nickname. We have nicknames for him. He's Duck Dynasty. We have nicknamed the guy who got his tongue bit out, Porn Stash. We nicknamed he's Porn Stash. He's Duck Dynasty. Who else do we have? They name.
They're the main ones. They're the main ones.
Those were the two main ones.
Yeah, if you added nothing else to this community, calling that guy Porn Stash is like the highlight of it all. Like that is we had Molly on last time, and she was just porn. She couldn't get enough of him being called Porn Stash.
Yeah, Porn Stash, poor Porn Stash. He got exactly what he deserved. Everything. 100%. Okay, thank you for coming on and rocking with us. We truly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody in the chat for coming out here rocking us. We have more people. We have Kenny's mom is coming on here. Is either next week or the week after. She'll be on. And then we have episode 7.
Is that Chrissy?
Yes, Chrissy will be on here, episode 7.
And we know we're calling them by characters' names. We'll call them by their real life names when on
human
the show.
names.
We didn't call her Julie once tonight. I think we called Liz Donna most of the first night, but like
it's okay. We all go by both.
Yeah, so Julie would be, if someone sees you calling you Julie is perfectly fine.
I don't mind.
Okay. And hopefully come back.
You,
we're gonna try to do a big round table with a lot of the actors when the season ends. So hopefully you'll come back and be a part of that round table. Thank you again. It's very nice. It's great meeting you, and you just everyone in the cast has been so great, but you're amazing. Thank you so much. Wish you nothing but success for you and the show. We're going to keep doing our thing to keep everything going on here and everything. Allison, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm. And as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace